Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a horror thriller film, The Shrine. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The film begins with a man being tied to the table, and another man recites a ritual in front of him using strange language. Then he smashes him with a sledgehammer. The scene shifts to a journalist named Carmen and her photographer boyfriend, Marcus. They argue that Carmen seems too occupied with her job and has no time for him and his hormones. Later, Carmen speaks with her boss, who explains her task of investigating the missing bees on a farm. But Carmen is more interested in a case about the disappearance of several tourists. Still, her boss is not interested and regards it as a dead case, since it usually happens. But Carmen insists and tells him about the man who recently went missing. He is the one we see at the beginning of the movie. Then she explains that the luggage of the missing tourists is seen in the cities of Europe. However, Carmen's boss is determined and does not allow her to investigate the case, as he believes that people and luggage go missing all the time. Before she leaves, the boss tells her not to waste their time investigating the missing people and focus on another case. Afterward, Carmen and the intern visit the missing man's mother. The mother tells them that she has her son's luggage and tries to ask for assistance from the Polish and American police, but they are too busy to come and help. So Carmen asks to see the luggage, and the mother tells her to go and check it upstairs. As Carmen enters the room, she sees the man's stuff on the bed and finds his journal. Before they leave, Carmen borrows the journal from the mother. Later, Carmen reads the journal on her bed when suddenly the air breathes and she hears a voice. She stands up and sees the missing man with bloody eyes, telling her, "Leave me alone." Then she wakes up and realizes it was a dream. Subsequently, Carmen speaks with her boyfriend about fixing their relationship. At the same time, she asks him to accompany her and her intern, Sarah, by taking some documentaries on their trip to Albania in Poland, the place Carmen read in the missing man's journal. But Marcus is reluctant and thinks it's risky, so she tells him to consider it. Later, Carmen's boss comes into their office to inform them about their task to investigate the missing bees. However, Carmen and the intern have been secretly preparing for their plans to go to Poland. Afterward, Marcus drives to Poland with Carmen and Sarah. On their way, Carmen reads the missing man's journal as he describes the strange village in Albania. Later, they pull over as they find a town with unwelcoming people, which is true to what is written in the journal. Then they see a man named Butcher, who is busy butchering a pig. They also find a girl picking up some flowers. They ask her if she can speak English, since not all of the people in the village know how to speak English. They then show her the missing man's photo and ask if she saw him, but she hesitates to respond. But when she is about to speak, Butcher arrives and scolds her using their language. So the girl frighteningly urges them to leave. After that, the three of them wander around the village and find a chapel with some men looking like the cultist leaders, standing outside and being treated as royalties. Suddenly, they notice a dark fog concentrated in a specific area in the forest, which the man also described in his journal. As they walk toward the forest, the young girl's father arrives with the other two men. He threatens them, asking them to leave. So they comply and run back to the car. While Marcus is driving away, Carmen suddenly asks to pull over and insists they should go back and investigate the intriguing fog in the forest. Carmen convinces Marcus to go back as she confesses that their boss did not know about it, and if they go back without a story, her career will be doomed. Moments later, they arrive and walk into the forest, where they accidentally find the area with a dense fog. While Carmen and Marcus argue about taking a photo of the area, Sarah enters into the fog and disappears into it. Carmen and Marcus notice her disappearance, so they wait for her return. But momentarily, they get impatient. Marcus insists they should leave, but Carmen tells him they cannot leave Sarah behind. So Carmen decides to enter into the fog and look for Sarah. After a few seconds, Sarah comes out feeling horrified and shocked. Meanwhile, Carmen looks for Sarah in the fog and comes across a terrifying statue holding a human heart. Carmen takes a picture of it and walks to the other side. When she is about to take another one again, the statue shockingly turns its head to face her. Then the statue's eyes start bleeding and the heart it holds starts beating. Carmen runs her frightened ass away from the statue as she hears a whispering voice. She suddenly exits the fog, where Marcus and Sarah immediately find her. Carmen asks Sarah what she has seen. Sarah tells her she saw a statue, and they both feel curious about it. As they are about to leave the forest, they suddenly notice the young girl looking at them. The young girl tells them she knows where the missing man is, and later she takes them to the cult's hideout. While exploring the place, they shockingly find some wooden caskets, where they discover the corpses of people with metal masks attached to their faces. They soon find the missing man in one of the caskets, and Carmen tries to remove the metal mask on him, but it's fixed to his head. It seems like the villagers are some kind of cultists who perform some strange rituals on the tourists before killing them. When Carmen is about to ask the young girl, they discover that she's already gone, so they hurriedly look for her and find that the door is locked from the outside. While Marcus tries to unlock it, Sarah senses someone is down from another door. Fortunately, Marcus manages to open the door. As they make their way out of the forest, they suddenly notice the villagers coming after them, so they flee in their 4 limbs. They then find a barn on their way, hiding inside for a while. While looking from the window, Marcus expresses his regrets about going there, which makes Carmen guilty, and she apologizes for insisting on going there. Moments later, they see the villagers coming to the barn. They immediately escape from the terrace, but one of the villagers catches Carmen and knocks her off. Marcus runs back to the barn, but she encounters another villager. Meanwhile, Butcher comes and shoots Sarah's leg with a crossbow. Right then, another villager puts some chloroform on a handkerchief, and as he puts it on Sarah's face, she sees his face has turned into a demon. At the same time, Marcus is being chased by Butcher. Unfortunately, Butcher catches him and then wrestle their muscles before he knocks Marcus out with chloroform. Moments later, Carmen, Sarah, and Marcus are woken up by the villagers through the splash of water. As they look around, they see the girl talking with Butcher, and after the girl walks away, they take them outside the hideout, where the cult leader looks at each of them. The leader then instructs the villagers to put Sarah and Carmen back in the hideout while they take Marcus away, since they know that Carmen and Sarah are the ones who have seen the statue in the fog. Upon entering, the cult leader awaits them, and the cultists immediately strip Carmen and Sarah's clothes. After that, they dress them in a white dress, and the religious leader comes toward them. He chooses Sarah, who first saw the statue, and puts Carmen in a holding cell. The cultists secure Sarah's arms, legs, and head on the ceremonial table as she cries anxiously. Subsequently, the cultist proceeds with the ritual. He lacerates her wrists and slashes her lower leg, while the cult leader recites something in a different language. As Sarah looks at him, she sees his face turn into a demon. At the same time, the cult leader is reciting, while the metal mask they saw from the corpses earlier is embedded on Sarah's face. It has 2 spikes pierced in her eyes, which cause her death instantly. Carmen cries as she witnesses it, and gets shocked when she sees another villager's face turn into a demon, looking at her. Meanwhile, Marcus is forced to dig a grave as the 2 villagers watch him and point a gun at him. After one of them leaves, Marcus swings the shovel to disarm him and knocks him out. He then takes the gun and immediately runs to rescue Carmen and Sarah. While the cultist puts Sarah's corpse in a wooden casket, Marcus arrives and watches them still. When he notices that Carmen is next, he immediately attacks the cultists, takes her with him, and then locks the cultist from the outside. However, while they are running in the woods, Carmen stops and suddenly feels strange after she vomits. But then, they continue running and find a car outside the villager's house. They break into the house to look for the car key. Upon entering, they see a woman in the kitchen. Marcus points a gun at her while asking for the key, but the woman does not speak English. She frighteningly calls her husband, but her son comes instead. Later, the husband arrives, and as the woman notices Carmen, she suddenly freaks out, feeling scared. So Marcus ties up the couple together in the living room. As Marcus tries to tighten the leash, Carmen suddenly feels strange and sees the objects in the house shaking. After that, the couple's son looks at Carmen, and she sees him having a demonic face, which shocks the smelly shit out of her. Then the son tells Marcus they need to leave. Marcus threatens the kid to give him the key while he points the gun at the couple. Simultaneously, Carmen frighteningly sees the son with his demon face looking at her. She also notices the couple turning into demons and crawling on the floor. Carmen gets terrified as she looks at Marcus, who has turned into a demon too, but in reality, she is having hallucinations. Carmen terrifyingly hides in another room where she continuously hears and sees things moving. The couple's son, who speaks English, leads Marcus to the kitchen and gives him the key. Marcus is afraid the boy will escape, so he ties the boy up, while the boy tells him that Carmen is evil because she has seen the statue. Meanwhile, Carmen sees herself in the mirror, gets possessed by the demon, and screams intensely. On the other side, the cultists looking for them get a hint of their location. After that, Marcus carefully enters the room to look for Carmen. As he enters the room, another door closes, and he sees another door where the couple's son screams while being dragged away. The door closes, and the boy stops screaming. Another door opens, leading him to the living room. While looking around the living room, he's shocked to see the family were ruthlessly killed. Suddenly, the door closes, and the possessed Carmen appears and pins him on the floor by choking him. While Carmen is on top of him, she speaks something about tasting the fallen angels and that there is no redemption. Just before Carmen is about to kill Marcus, the cultists arrive. The cultist leader holds the cross while reciting something to the possessed Carmen. It reveals that they are not sacrificing anyone, but trying to get rid of the demonic possessions of those who have seen the creepy statue. Some cultists attack Carmen one after another, and she only finishes them off instantly. The cultist leader continues to fight Carmen through prayer and splashes her with holy tap water. Since the cultist leader's assistant looks anxious and terrified, the possessed Carmen immediately attacks the leader. Before the leader dies, he passes his doobie to Butcher. Carmen then turns her attention back to Marcus. As she slowly walks toward him, Butcher gets the leader's holy water and splashes it on Carmen as he recites the prayer. He stabs Carmen while chanting, and the two cultists pin her hands on the floor with knives. After that, they align the metal mask over Carmen's face, but since she keeps moving, Marcus helps them to place it properly on her. He holds her head still, and Butcher embeds the mask using a sledgehammer. Marcus frighteningly looks at Butcher and the other cultists, afraid of what will happen to him after witnessing all of it. But luckily, Butcher decides to let him go. He offers him a ride home, where the other villager will drive him away. In the end, as Marcus looks around the forest, he cannot help but ask what is inside the fog. Butcher then reveals that the fog and the statues are a curse left long ago to the village, and something that cannot be undone. It turns out these cultists are not sacrificing the tourists, but instead, they are preventing the possessions caused by seeing the statue in the fog. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.